this is what a lot of people that are stuck, they feeling all the time. They're like, I really want to do this, but I don't know what's on the other side.
Welcome to the Phase 4 podcast, inspired by Vishen Lakiani and Ajit Nawalkar, co-founders of EverCoach, a division of Vine Valley. In this podcast, we speak to coaches and creatives about where they were, where they are, and where they are going. This is an intersection of what we focus on expands, and your story is your superpower. My guest today is Sofia Reis, a group program launch coach, a certified 6-phase meditation trainer, and a certified life coach. In addition, Sofia has an abundance of courses on her websites to meet everybody's needs. Sofia, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. So I got to say, I've checked out your website. I check out everyone's websites, and yours is unbelievable. It's so well organized, and there's so much value in every direction. And so I love it. And so maybe first we could probably start with, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
How far do you want me to go? So my journey as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, goes back 8 years ago, 2014, 2015. So what I am now, like, I don't mean my personality because that hasn't changed, but what I'm doing now, it's nothing like when I started my business. I fired my boss in 2014. We went through some redundancies. I was a strategic buyer for an aerospace company, and we went through some redundancies, and the way that they did what they didn't really align with my values and what I truly believe, right? So then I start questioning, is this it? Am I going to stay in corporate all my life, or is there more for me out there? And that's when I made a decision. Like, I just went in, wrote my one paragraph resignation letter, and I gave it to my manager at the time. And on the 13th of Friday, March the 13th, Friday, 2015, I left with mixed feelings, right? I was scared, I was excited. And I started doing some social media marketing to start with. So this is my journey. Then I went into, I discovered my passion for design, for web design and web development. So 2018, I started doing some web development there. And then COVID hit, 2020. And that's when I joined Mind Valley. It's an amazing community that I've joined, and it really helped me to overcome all that crap that happened during COVID. And then it wasn't until 2022, last year, beginning of the year, I started the year going like, there's something missing. I'm passionate about what I was doing and what I do, but there was something missing. So then I don't know, I just said it out loud. I'm very vocal, very verbal. And I actually just say out loud sometimes. And maybe I was affirming something. And like by magic, Mind Valley landed on my lap with the life coaching. And that's when I joined them. It was like, no brainer, this is it, you know? In a way, I've always felt like I've been doing coaching all my life, but I needed to have that validation and that reassurance that I was going in the right place. And that's when everything started shifting. It was absolutely incredible.
I love it.
I've got so much. We'll be here like for hours, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So there's one thing you said back there was like you're scared and excited, and it's kind of like a tough
Yes.
feeling because they feel the exact same way in our body, right? And then to say Friday, I love that you said you fired your boss. That's the best. But Friday the 13th, it's kind of, I don't know, it's not ironic, but so that was 2015. For us in our part, I'm in Toronto, and where we are, Friday the 13th, that was when the government said, listen, this thing's here, COVID's here. It was on the Friday the 13th that the government shut everything down. I actually went to a Mind Valley event in Los Angeles. It was February 29th because it was a leap year, and March 1st was the Saturday and Sunday. And like, I remember Lisa Nichols, she goes, when you guys leave here, you're going to go out and infect the world. And I was like, yeah, at the time, nobody knew anything about COVID. And then, yeah, Friday the 13th, 2 weeks later, just boom, the whole world's different forever. And the history of the world has changed. So that's awesome. And your journey sounds like, yeah, you're already on your way. And coaching's kind of a thing where we already, like we're doing it anyway, right? And we're doing it to ourselves. We're doing it to others. And then, so yeah, this magic email comes along and now you're certified in all of it. That's great.
Yeah, and if we just want to talk about that, those two feelings that I felt, and I know a lot of people feel it too, like of being scared, but at the same time being excited. This is what a lot of people that are stuck, they're feeling all the time. They're like, I really want to do this, but I don't know what's on the other side. So, and then we have all that inner sabotage, inner saboteurs and inner self-talk that don't let us move on. So at the time when I made that decision, because everything in life is about decision, right? When I made that decision, yes, I was scared, and I'm not even worried about saying it, because I think this is all about being truthful to yourself and feel the feeling, right? And then just, I read this book that was really good, like recently, Susan Sheffer's, the Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Absolutely incredible. And when she said that, when I read the book and she was talking about this feeling, it took me back when I actually left corporate in 2015, and it was quite revealing for me. But it's always like every stage in your life, it's always very revealing, right? And you just have to embrace it and feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, I love it. I recently heard about that book somewhere else too. So that's cool. I think part of that fear that you feel, it's because your heart wants you to go there. And like, so it's almost like a signal, like, because if it didn't matter, you didn't care about it, you wouldn't care about it, right? You wouldn't be scared or fearful. And so for me, definitely move right to the fear. Like make the mistakes, say the wrong thing. You have to, right? I saw actually an interview, an NBA basketball player yesterday. The guy asked him, do you think this is a failure? And he's like, what are you talking about? Only one team can win. Like, does that mean everyone else has failed? He said, Michael Jordan, he won 9 championships, but he played 16 years. 6 championships, he played 15 years. Does that mean the other 9 years are failure? Like, you know what I mean? So you can't always get right to the top, but yeah, move towards that fear. I love it. And so the saboteurs, that's a good one. We can just transition right to positive intelligence.
Yes. So after I've done the certification with Ever Coach by Mind Valley, one of my coach colleagues, I believe she sent me an invitation for this program with positive intelligence. And I was like, wow, it's like, there's things in life. It's really deep, right? Ready? It feels like there's the right moment. Things happen to you for the right reason in the right moment. And I've got goosebumps. That's what I'm talking about it. I don't know if you've noticed this before. It's really, again, magical. And I truly believe that we all have a destiny. We should force it. It will appear in your path at the right time. So that's when I joined Positive Intelligence. I did the mental fitness PQ coaching with them, and then I joined them for the Grow program, and I'm going towards the certification as a PQ coach as well. But it made so sense because what I'm doing, so I help people put together, design, craft, and deliver their group programs. But then when I've became aware of the saboteurs, I thought, wow, this is the missing piece, because every single person has self-doubt before doing anything, right? And I thought that it combines with what I'm doing. So this is the program that I'm actually building right now, which is a 12 weeks program. And we start with the saboteurs. We start with discovering them, accepting them, and intercepting them. And then move on to a more sage, wiser self. And it just makes no sense, because in every single, like my framework is a 5-step, and the sage powers are 5 sage powers, and it fits in like a glove, right? I'm really excited to talk about this. I could talk about it all day long, because when you come to this awareness that something clicks with another thing, it's like, wow, it's like you discovered gold, right? I just can't put it any other way.
Yeah, for sure. Positive intelligence, will definitely stick with it for a bit. So there's a lot in there. So my saboteurs first is hyper rational, hyper vigilant, and restless, which I think should be called hyper caffeinated instead of restless. But the idea of meeting the right people at the right time, or getting the right information at the right time in the right order, it happens to me, and I see it all the time. And like, it could be in a book where, like, okay, I've read this book, or even actually the same books reading over again, where you don't get the information right away because you weren't ready to receive it, and then it comes at the right time, exactly like you're saying. And yeah,
it's like that saying, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And that is exactly, thinking back, when EverCoach come up on my news feed and Positive Intelligence, I was like, wow, right?
Yeah. And so for the Shirazad Shamin is the guy's name for Positive Intelligence, but I remember when I went through it too. And I remember when I first was listening to it, I was like, he was asking like, which one of these are you? And I'm like, I'm kind of like all of them, like some of them a little more, some of them a little less. And then I was like, but at the same time, I don't think any of them are actually true. I think they're just in my head and they're not true. And then another point to that is, every year I plan out my year. The last 2 weeks in December, I kind of plan out what I want to do, goals, books, whatever, trips, everything. And I put a theme word to the year. And so this year, my theme is intuitive sage. And it came from him a little bit, but I've been flying by intuition. And like, even just you here and just talking, like, yeah, I could talk for hours about this stuff too.
It's funny that your hyper rational is on the top, because my hyper rational is right on the bottom, right? And when you meet people that are different, that's when there's a connection, right? I'm very organized, because you mentioned something about my website and how I have things. I am very organized, but I'm also a reformed perfectionist. So like, I've got my hyperachiever is the first one, stickler, and restless. That's my 3 top. And you know what? They will never go away. Sometimes they go a little bit low down, sometimes they go a bit higher. And it's just this saboteur. When I discover them, there's always that sense of yourself that says to you, oh, that can't be possible. You know, I'm not a controller, right? But we are, right? We got all this characteristics of the saboteurs within us. Some are a bit low and some are a bit higher. And it's up to us to kind of like intercept them and stop them from hijacking us from what we want, self-sabotaging our dreams, right?
Yeah. How about PQ reps? You find that helps a lot?
Yes, it is. And I could be doing them right now. They're so simple, right? So you've got the coaches challenges that are like 2 minutes PQs every 3 hours. It's the app really helps because it's all in there. So it's like everybody has a phone nowadays. So, and everybody is walking around the phone. I go and walk the dog, or I go to the shops, or I go to the supermarket. I'm doing actually shopping, and I can be doing PQ reps. I can be listening the modules. So every time I run a cohort, I go with their flow. You know, I go through the same modules as them, so we're at the same level. And I think that the app, it's an amazing idea. The whole system, the whole framework, operating system, like they call it, it's freaking brilliant, basically.
Game changer, right? It's totally a game changer. I read Daniel Goleman. It's called emotional intelligence, right? And then you have IQ. So like, this is kind of like a mix of the two, right? Take your emotions, take your what you know, and kind of just watch it. And like you said, everybody has these things and they're not going away. It's like a silence the doubts, right? And I get that voice. And so what for anybody listening who wants to go through that kind of a program, what does it look like? How many people are in it? And I heard you say 12 weeks, right?
My 12 weeks program is, we start with 6 weeks of mental fitness. So we get you fit to take on your new persona that you want to become, which my outcome is I want to help coaches, course creators, and leaders, group leaders, to become a group coach, a group leader, right? So that transition from their one-to-one practice into and embracing the group dynamics. I love working with groups, right? I have a total different energy when I'm working with groups. I understand that a lot of people might need to have that one-to-one interaction with a coach, right? It might be more sensitive kind of topics and challenges they're going through. But if your clients are all going towards the same desired outcome, what better way to do that than in with a group? Because the interaction between each other. So the way I coach, I'm the leader of the group, but I open the space to other members to interact with each other, because I know I don't know it all, right? I don't know it all. And I know that there's a lot of other minds, wise minds. I call it the collective wisdom. There's a lot of collective wisdom that can help you to overcome certain things, right? Or give you positive feedback, or you know. And so we start with the 6 weeks, get you mentally fit, and then we move on to the 5 weeks, which is my 5-step framework, which is it's my radical launch system framework that I help you build your mindset, build your pillars, build your content, build your launch, and build your tribe, right? So there's a lot of building that, but in every single step of my intensive boot camp, there are always some saboteurs that are going to play up with you. So that therefore, you need to get mentally fit first, mentally
100%.
stable, fit, whatever you want to call it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, and just like the name says, saboteurs, right? So it's self-sabotage that's happening. And so like if you can see it, that's the first thing. Like if you hear like a dark a noise outside in the dark and you're scared, right? You might think it's like a wolf or something, but you shine a light, you find out it's just a little squirrel. You know what I mean? So to bring it to the light like that with the saboteur. So you can see them and then you label them, you call it intercepting, but same idea, just label it and watch it go by. And so then you said, then you do the 5 weeks. Is that the 5 steps to 5K in 5 weeks?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Beautiful.
So it's like together. I used to have these two programs separate, and I still have them because some people might not want to be a group leader, but they still need to work on their getting mentally fit. So for those, I get on a call and I try to assess and see really what's their need. So I kept them also separate, right? Others, they already, for example, have got a client right now that is already been through the positive intelligence. So she's only doing the 5 steps to 5K in 5 weeks.
Right.
So it's very flexible. And I think this flexibility has to be within us, in all of us when we're working, because not everybody, it's a good fit to work with me, and that's okay, right? But getting on a call and trying to figure out if I can help, if I'm the right person for you, I think that's my priority. I only work if I love what I'm doing,
Right.
and not being forced.
Yeah, that almost goes back to like getting the right information at the right time. Like if that person's not for you, yeah, go ahead. Maybe I know a coach for you. It might not be me, and that's okay. Like you said, I love this conversation because I don't actually get a chance to talk to a lot of group coaches. I do group coaching too, and I don't know too many, but maybe a book that I don't know if you've ever heard. It's called The Circle Way. And it's kind of just about group coaching, and it shows how maybe like in a corporate setting where the CEO comes down and the janitor comes and everybody's there. And instead of sitting in a square or sitting like one person at a podium, everyone kind of sits in a circle and there's no leader, right? And so even though you're the leader and you're the facilitator, it's the collective wisdom, as you call it, which is the way to do it, because everyone has their own unique experience, and maybe one thing somebody says or a different experience, it could make you change your whole approach. And so I definitely love the group coaching idea. And so,
there's a really clear distinction that a lot of people might not know, which is between the methodology of grow methodology and the group methodology, right? And another thing that I emphasize, and I showed them, I showed them differences. I showed them how they can converse and talk to a group, direct a group, and also engaging that group, keeping that group engaged, keeping the momentum going. All this kind of challenges when you have a group. I'm not saying like if you have a course, obviously it might be a group of people, but if there's no interaction with a coach, I don't consider that a group program. Do you know what I mean? What I visualize a group program to be is this interaction, is this connection with the other members, right? And also allowing other members to expose their opinions, their feedback, and then almost like coaching each other, right?
oh yeah. And then again, the collective wisdom, right? When you're in a group, you see each other and you're like, oh, I see a bit of myself in him, and then everyone benefits. So yeah, I definitely love it. And yeah, I would recommend that book to anyone, The Circle Way, anyone who wants to do group coaching. And so
Yes.
you have a bunch of other courses. So you got Ditch Your Doubts and Propel Your Business Vision, a 3-day virtual retreat. You want to talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, so that is like my lower entry level one, because that is the reason why they're stuck right now, right? They're self-doubting, they're self-sabotaging their dreams, they're not moving forward, they're putting a hold on what they really want. And sometimes they don't even know what they want. You know, I project myself back to where when I left corporate and I was self-sabotaged. Like it took me like freaking so many months to make a decision to leave. It's incredible. And that is self-sabotage. I was self-sabotaging myself. So it makes sense that we go through the ditching your doubts first. Because like there's a lack of confidence, right, to start with. And we all the same. You might think that I'm very confident, but I also have moments that I feel down. I feel there's something's not quite right, and I don't feel confident to do certain things, and that's normal. You know, we all go through it. So it makes sense that we go through that first, to ditch your doubts first, and then move on to more pressing things, you know,
Yeah, it's
getting you actually
great.
mentally fit and everything.
Yeah, the way the
It,
way you have them that they stack on top of each other, that's brilliant too.
yeah, and it wasn't like that, right? I'm just going to say to you, it wasn't like that before. And I had a phase in my business that everything was scattered. And after 2020, when I joined Mindvalley, was when I started becoming aware of certain things that never appeared in my life, you know, personal development, personal growth, and all that. My first course with Mindvalley was the Be Extraordinary, my first program, and I absolutely freaking loved it.
Yeah, I went to a Be Extraordinary Live in Toronto. Man,
Did you?
September 29th, 2019, and my life changed forever. A week later, I sold my house. And yeah, just no looking back. It just kept getting better and better and just crazy, right? Like, because of the exactly like you're saying, these things I didn't know. And it's like, oh my God, I was doing this to myself. I didn't realize it. And I used to be a victim. Everyone knows that. And I didn't realize you could create it, right? And then you go to this event and you learn all these tools and the downward spiral and all this stuff. And it's like 3 MIQs was a huge one, right? You use the 3 MIQs and totally
Yeah.
develop.
Yeah, I use that as well. I use a lot of the tools because I've got my 3 MIQs looking at me right now. I use it more than actual vision boards. I love that. Absolutely love that because it's all about experiences, growth, contribution. You know, it's my trilogy of the be, me, we.
I
You
love
know,
it.
be, experiences, me, growth. We is all about contribution and that global impact that you know, that mission that Mindvalley has that I love.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, I volunteered for Mindvalley and I'm going to Tallinn.
Yeah, did you go to Tallinn last year? I think I saw some pictures of you.
Yes,
How was that?
absolutely loved Tallinn. And I went for 5 days and I couldn't have enough of it. I was like, I want more. So I went back, and this year I've volunteered to be there for Mindvalley University. And I'm super excited. I just cannot wait. I could go tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
My motto is like, be innovative. You know, don't do the same crap as other people are doing. You know, just come up with some different ideas. And this is what I say to my people. You know, you don't have to have a PDF ebook. You don't have to have this and that. right? You just do what feels comfortable to you. And it's times are changing, right? Times are changing. Times how you market yourself is changing so much. So just create.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you go on my website, I have a bunch of free worksheets and they're all just ones I made up, and it might not resonate with everyone. They work for me, and I figure like, hey, if they work for me and I started there and I got to here, you can just duplicate that process and it might work for you. But use your creativity, use your authenticity, and these are the things that are going to help.
Exactly. Yes.
And so you mentioned the word phase earlier. And so this is the Phase 4 podcast. And Phase 4 in the 6-phase meditation is all about creating your future 3 years out. So where is Sofia 3 years from today?
Oh, that question feels really cooperative. It feels like I'm in an interview. It's like, what do I want to do in about 3 years' time? To be honest with you, I'm in a place that I do whatever I want to do. So, and as a coach as well, we're just projecting us into the future. Yes, but okay. So let me just say it. That's just come up in my head because it's been festering. And one of the things I would like to do, right? Maybe, I don't know if it's 3 years or maybe a year, right? But one of the things that I would like to do is speak in public from a stage somewhere. I don't know where. So what I visualize is myself and I'm listening to the audience, interacting and cheering me on and stuff like that. So I don't know where, I don't know when, I don't know how, but it's going to happen.
Tallinn this summer, in Estonia.
Who knows? I'm just putting it out there in the universe.
I love it. And it's a beautiful question. And the answers vary so much. Some people know exactly what they want. Some people are like, I just want to expand. Some people are like, I'm not even going there because I'm just going to do what I'm doing. And I'm not trying to force anything. I'll just see where it takes me. So yeah, I definitely love it. Going back to that Be Extraordinary, that was the 3 MIQs. That was the first time I ever heard about the 6-phase too. They did the 6-phase at that live event. And so I had this Phase 4, or I had the whole 6-phase, but the 3 years out, and I started trying to create it. And it wasn't just one thing, it was a bunch of things. And all of them happened way better than I could have imagined. And even before the 3 years. So the timeline is just a little bit of fun and playing. And I think it's awesome that,
in my ditch your dance, I use the 6-phase. I use the empowering, disempowering shift exercise, and I use the 3 MIQs. I use several tools that work for me and that will work for somebody else that wants to ditch the dance. Yeah. So it's powerful because like the 3 first phases of 6-phase meditation, it's all about the present, right? And then the last 3 is all about the future. So it fits in, us as coaches, we don't go too much into the past. We might look into the inner child, but just to remind ourselves that we once were children with ambition, with dreams, with desires, right? And that inner child is still within us, but we don't go too much delving into the past. We just live in the present moment.
100%. Yeah, that's therapy, right? Like, so the therapist wants to go in your past and it's helpful, right? Some people, if you need it, go ahead, do it. And my idea is kind of like, it kind of doesn't matter what happened in the past. It does obviously a little bit, right? But like at the same time, you're here right now. And like, what do you want to create? Let's create it. And it doesn't matter what happened or where your situation or your starting point. Don't compare yourself to other people. Start where you are, do what you can, use what you have and create it. And the thing about it is it stacks so fast, right? You're saying about the growth you've experienced. I'm the same, like in just like so short time, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, it's like, whoa. And so, yeah, create your future from where you are and use what you have. And sky's the limit too, right? Like just make it up, like literally make it up. What do you want to create? Do it.
Yeah. Because you know what? I like, if you're stuck in the past for too long, you start missing the opportunities that come along in your life right now. Because you won't see them because you're so depressed and frustrated with what has been done to you or happened to you, whatever, that you would not see the opportunities. So the more you ground yourself and the more you live right now, because you don't have a time machine. I've been saying this freaking years. You don't have a time machine, so you can't go back and go like, oh yeah, I'm gonna undo this, you know.
Yeah, that's what depression
So
is, right? You're in the past trying to, oh, why did it turn out like this? Why me? And then anxiety is like, it's not the future, it's trying to control the future. And yeah, it's so true. I don't know, do you know who Joe Dispenza is?
yeah.
Same like that, man. And that was me. And he's the one who fixed me, or he's the one who made me see like, hey man, you're just recreating it.
You're the one that fixed yourself, right?
Yeah.
You fixed yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
We all have this ability. It's like, that's the thing. We think that we need to have the answers from somebody else. No. You know what, like last year, I was like, something is missing, something's missing. Why can't somebody just come out of the woodwork and tell me what's wrong, what is missing, what's broken, right? And I had to find out for myself. Yeah. Right? Nobody helped me. Yes, you might have some vehicles and some tools and some people that came along to your life and made you see the possibilities.
Like you said at the beginning, right? The student is ready, the master will appear. Yes. And so what are some of maybe your favorite, you said be extraordinary. What's your favorite quests or other certifications? I know you've done a bunch. I've done a bunch.
Oh my God, I've done a bunch of them. I've done, I don't know, I've stopped counting. I think I've done the silver method. I've done Lisa Nichols. I like that very much. Some of them, what I can say is that some of the programs that I've done with My Valley, some I've done at my own pace and some I've done in a group. And the difference for me was that I've enjoyed more when I had the interaction and the support and the accountability of the group. So if you are thinking of doing any, no, I don't mean you, but out there, whoever is listening to us, if you're thinking of doing any of the Mind Valley programs, try and find a time that you can do that program with a group, because it's such a difference having somebody there that you can rely on and you can just pour your heart out and they will lift you up, they will support you, and they will keep you accountable. And so you don't lose the momentum, and that worked really well. But then again, I'm very academic, so I love studying and how do you say it? I love to grow, right? I love to know stuff so I can grow better. As simple as that.
My whole thing is evolve, expand, grow, and so yeah, what we focus on expands. So. And like you're saying, again, you're creating it, right? So what do you want to create? You can create sitting and watching Netflix all day, or you can start learning new things. And by learning new things, it takes you to different places. And I'll go back to running again. I used to just run just for fun and health and just because I loved it, right? I didn't know anything about it. And then as you start training for a marathon, you learn all these things about, oh, you need certain hydration and different kinds of shoes will let you recover quicker, and just all sorts of different little tips and tricks that if you don't learn about it, you wouldn't know. You would just be out there running. It's still fun, but now you can run faster, longer, harder. And so, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's funny you say running. I mean, my passion is painting. And I've discovered that actually when I finished, when I was doing the 6 weeks program with positive intelligence, something shifted within me and my priorities shifted. And I thought, I've got this paint. I had this painting that I started it like 12 years ago. And there was nothing that I could do. I was overthinking. I was self-doubting, right? I was thinking, I'm not good enough to finish this painting. Who am I? I'm not an artist. You know, I've got this talent, but I'm not an artist, right? So 12 years it took me to finish the painting. And with being aligned with the positive intelligence framework and doing the PQ reps and, you know, just I went in and I've signed myself up in art studio and I finished the freaking painting. So now it's like, now I'm thinking back, all that overthinking, all that putting myself down all the time. I am good enough. Art is art. Art is like whatever you want it to be, right? So
Beautiful.
a lot has shifted.
That's amazing. And so that's another part where like you just weren't ready to finish it. Like it's not like it wasn't done, and
Yes.
then you got it. And so there's a book you just reminded me of. His name's Panache Desai, and he's in the same space as us. And the book is called You Are Enough. And it's brilliant read. I would recommend it to anybody.
Oh my God, I'm going back on this and I'm going to get all these names of the books that you're telling me because I love it. So I'm 45% auditory. So I'm on Audible, right? I think I've read about 10 so far this year. Read and listen because I love to listen. I'm very auditory.
Yeah, I
So
love it too.
I'm going back on this list.
For sure. My sister-in-law, she listens to books at like 1.5, sometimes even 2. And I used to be like, how do you do that? And now I'm the same way. I love the audiobooks, but it's like anytime I'm driving or whatever, it's like audiobooks 1.5, and you can crush audiobooks so fast. Yeah, I love it. Maybe, hey, what are some maybe podcasts that you like, or what kind of podcasts you have for people out there?
So yeah, I've got Mind Valley, I've got Ever Coach on Audible. Used to listen to Brendan Bouchard. Do you know him?
Yeah.
There was a few back in the day. I used to listen to a lot of Social Media Examiner. It's huge on the social media environment. What else? Oh yeah, I've done a program recently about human design. I don't know if you heard about it. And I'm into that as well. So I listen to a lot of podcasts in that arena of human design. I'm a self-projected projector. So the ideal for coaches, spot on. So that was another program that really helped me to see who I am and how I can better use my strength, right?
Yeah, that personal mastery, I love it. Like I got a list of like things I do every day, just little things. Some of them take 2 minutes, some of them take 20, but like within an hour, I get all these list of 10 things done. And then all of a sudden it just stacks so fast, and it's like, whoa. And like I go see some friends I haven't seen in years, and they're like, who is this guy? And so you mentioned travel. And so what kind of places you travel around, or?
Oh my God, I love traveling. I mean, this is like a passion from little. I actually went to uni and did a tourism degree and a master's in travel agency and hotel management. Never done anything with it, you know, but traveling, I love it. I used to go like traveling. I went Thailand, Egypt, Italy, all over UK, went to Cuba, went to America. What else?
Beautiful.
Maldives, Kenya. I lived in Angola until I was 7. I don't know if that counts.
Of course it does. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
my
love
dad
it.
was stationed there. Hmm.
That's awesome.
So many places. Denmark, Sweden,
Wow.
Ireland, south of Ireland. I'm just thinking, I love traveling. Do you know why I love traveling? I love to interact with different cultures. I love to listen to different people's stories and fables. Like, do you know what fable? Yeah, like
Yeah,
old things. You go into
right.
like the different villages. Oh yeah, France. You'll go to little villages and you start talking with the locals and you start discovering certain things that nobody else knows, and it's amazing. And this is what I loved last year in Tallinn, like interacting with like people from Colombia and Venezuela and Germany and here and there. And I was like, what? I was in my element. I really was. It's like, loved it every single minute
Yeah,
of it.
it's like you say, right? You go there and you learn about other people's experience and maybe things that you kind of already know, they just make a lot more sense, or you learn little remedies or home secrets or just ways of cooking or culture, food, dishes. And it goes right back to the circle way. It goes back to sitting around a campfire, kind of telling stories. And that's the way people communicate. And that's the way you get, not that you get inside people, but that's how we relate. And that's how we can empathize, is because of those stories. And so I definitely agree. It expands your whole view of life, right?
I know. Yeah.
I
That
remember,
sitting around a fire, campfire took me back to when I was a scout girl. So
yeah,
yes, get that smoke in your face and just not a care in the world, right? But just like listening to all this difference. So I'm an immigrant, right? I lived in UK for 21 years. So when I went to the UK, I didn't mix with the Portuguese community. I mixed with the English community. I'm their country. Let's do the way they do it, right? And I didn't lose my identity. I didn't lose my Portuguese identity. And that's really important to talk about. Like, you don't have to pretend to be somebody that you're not. You don't have to lose your identity just because you're in a different country. But over there, I just really mixed with the people, learn about the culture, what I could do, had their jobs, had their food. And this is what fascinates me with so many different races. It's incredible. And
beautiful.
yeah. Sorry, I just went my little planet.
No, I love it. It's just making me think. Even like when you said Cuba, I've been to Cuba a bunch of times, and it's like that, man. It's you just go, and I don't want to. They're asking where are you from, and it's like, no, man, you tell me all your stories. I want to hear what you got. And you
Yeah,
come back richer for it every time.
I
Last
know.
summer when we were doing I don't know, was it CLC or CBC, but we would have these group meetings, right, to kind of just go over the material. And there would be like one person in India and the sun was coming up, and I'm here and I could see the moon, right? And then somebody on the West Coast, the sun is just going down, and it's like all at the same time, like, wow.
We kind of forget that we live in this huge planet.
Yeah, massive. And so
Yeah.
one couple other things as we're winding down, if this resonates with you, share it with someone you know, review it, like it. And I think maybe I would like to go to LinkedIn, because I see you just absolutely crushing it on LinkedIn. And so do you have any tips? Yeah.
Well, LinkedIn has changed. Been on LinkedIn since the beginning, but to be honest with you, like in the beginning, I didn't really like LinkedIn. It felt very corporate. It felt very stuffy. It felt very like, I don't know. There was something that was engagement, it was interaction, it was missing. But now it's like the quality of LinkedIn right now, it's completely different. And it goes back to what I was saying, like times are changing, people. Times are changing. You don't have to do stuff the same way, in that 1990, you probably weren't alive anyway. But do you see what I mean? It's like times are changing. Just go with the flow and adapt and enjoy the ride, having fun doing it. And that makes a lot of difference, and it's made a lot of difference for my business. I don't have to, first of all, I don't have to pretend anything. I am who I am. You accept him as I am. And then have fun. If you're not having fun, what's the point, right? It's like my paintings. When I go to my paintings, I stay there for hours and I just forget about everything, and I'm having fun doing it, right? So much, it's a completely different perspective when you can actually shift from that stuffy corporate-y.
Yeah, I have a picture of my dog. I'm holding my dog right on LinkedIn, and someone's like, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Why not?" And they're like, "Nobody does that." I'm like, "Perfect."
Exactly. You'll be the first. And I truly believe that everybody is unique in their own way. I've got my quirks. You should see my quirks. My husband and my kids take the piss out of me all the time because sometimes I can't see certain expressions. I can't say it, like you stuffed in a tuna can or something like that. It's like, it's really funny. And they compare me with an actress that she's got an accent as well. She's an immigrant and she's in a different country and she always says different things. But go back, it's like, I am who I am, right? If I can help you overcome a certain thing and you get the results, then awesome. I might not be the person for you to work with you, and that's okay, right? I just completely just went on a different thing there. I can't remember what you asked, but never mind.
No, it's perfect.
We talk a lot.
That's great. I love it. This is a lot of this conversation has been a mirror to me because I'm the same kind of way. And I kind of just do my own thing. And definitely with group coaching is like not too many people are doing it. But yeah, authenticity is key. I think somewhere was talking about this yesterday. Like, how do I do it? What should I say? And should I do it like this guy or that guy? No, do it like yourself, right? And it lands, like it comes across, especially if you're trying the opposite way. If you're trying to be like someone else, that comes across too. And it's obvious. So yeah, no, be your own and use your own experience.
Be yourself.
Yeah. And we all have our own, there's like 8 billion different unique perspectives of the world. And so things that have happened in your past, like they happen to you for a reason, right? And so there's Joe Dispenza again. He says like, wisdom is when you can take your past without the emotional attachment, right? Then you gain the wisdom. And Lisa Nichols, actually, she said, we all have stories, right? And the way you tell a story is, she called it like cakes. She said like, sometimes the cake just came out of the oven and it's too hot. Sometimes the cake's still in the oven and it's too hot. You can't tell that story. Sometimes the cake just came out of the oven and it's still a little too hot. You're going to get burnt again. And you say, once the cake's cooled down and it's yummy to eat, that's how you know you can tell this story. And so for anyone like who is addicted to smoking or drinking or something like that, if you just quit last week, maybe it's not time to tell people that you quit yet. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And so for you, Lisa Nichols, is that where you decided like, hey, I want to speak on stages? Like she's, for me, maybe I'm projecting because that, for me, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. So actually, when I realized that I wanted to speak on stage, I'm in Italy. I can't remember the name of the town, but they have this, like, imagine this Greek stage. I think I've got a video somewhere. And as I'm stepping into this stage, right? It's like circle stage. I'm looking around and I'm thinking, wow. And I'm having the posture, like, I felt like I was on stage, right? Talking to my audience. And that was when I started to plant the seed. So with me, it's like this, I plant the seed, I have a thought, or I have a dream, right? I plant the seed and then I start watering it, right? Because you have to, because otherwise the plant won't grow. So then that's after that feeling, I looked in Mind Valley and I put speaking, I think it was, on the search bar. And Lisa Nichols come up and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it, right? To know certain things. And it's still, the seed is still germinating.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I said to you, I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to happen because the seed is there already.
Yeah, I love it. I'm similar where I'll have an idea and I kind of work on it, and it takes me 6 months or 7 months to figure it out, and then it comes back and it comes into fruition. And it's looking back, it's really easy to say, oh my God, I've been thinking about that before, and then now it's here. And so yeah, that's beautiful that you can do it. Do you know who Kute Blackson is? Kute. So he's
No, you've got to send me that. Who is that?
yeah, he's this I think he lives in Britain now. He's from Ghana. And so his podcast is called Soul Talk. Brilliant podcast. But
Wow.
his father was a preacher of like 13 different churches in Ghana. And so he was like raised as a young boy to, you're going to take over the ministry and all this kind of stuff. And what he used to do is he used to go out to the auditorium in the middle of the night, and he used to practice on stage speaking to empty seats. But he would picture that there's people in there and he was speaking to all these people. And so it's kind of like visualization, intention, everything all mixed together. And now this guy's just such a powerful speaker. So yeah, I'm going to have to send you that one too.
Yes, please. I'm going to search him like straight away after this talk.
Yeah, Soul Talk.
Because I'm like that. I visualize stuff. I mean, just like where I'm living right now, my house that I built, I've visualized it and dreamt about it when I was 12 years old, right? And then, you do this and you do that and life happens. And it wasn't until when we moved here. Oh no, we bought the plot in 2018.
Wow.
Right? So I had to move to another country to build my dream home, to have this amazing lifestyle,
Before I ask my final question, is there anything else that you want to say or share that maybe we haven't talked about your business, yourself?
Just a quick message to everybody that is listening. Just mind your thoughts, mind your words, because everything that you think about comes about. And just be positive and be free. That's just a quick message for everybody.
Yeah, that's 100% agree with that. And so my final question is, where can people reach you?
Oh my God, they can reach me on my website, increasesocialreach.com, or they can in my website, they can set up a call with me. Let's have a chat, just like one-to-one, really informal kind of chat. That's where they can reach me.
Beautiful. Sofia, thank you so much for your time today. I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Thank you. I'm grateful to you.